There we go. An image of the countdown. Right, we'll check we're live. Let's have a little look. Hey, if you've just joined us, we're just checking we're live. All is good. I think so.
Yeah, we are, mate. We're good.
Nice. Awesome.
Good to go.
Right. Yeah. So, hey, guys, it's Andy here and Dave. Another episode of Tuesday Tune In. I always start with no episode. It's because it's like the Mountain Malarkey, Dave.
Yeah.
But yeah, another episode of Tuesday Tune In. This week is all around waterproofs. We decided to, last week we did down jackets. We've also done, sleeping bags, different day packs. We've done a whole host of things, and we were like, we haven't really touched on waterproofs, and
yeah,
kind of feels a bit left out. I think the waterproofs. I was thinking, obviously I know it's summer now, but
yeah, but mate, it's summer in Wales.
Still rain.
It's Wales still, so it was raining all day. Was it? No, yes, all for about the last 4 days.
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey guys, Shane and Dave joined us. If you are joining us, just say hello and give us a little thumbs up as well. Just let us know you're all here. And as before, although we're here talking, about waterproof jackets, any question, just post them in the comments.
Yeah,
I'm sure Yeti is back today, so she's on the live as well. So she'll be the questions, sending them over. We can also. We've now worked out a way to see and comment on using our stream. So
yeah, we now have Lauren on the phones.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, hey Mick, how's it going, mate? It is raining. I know. Well, it's it's actually not too bad. I live just outside of Cardiff. I know you're in the office, aren't you, Dave?
Yeah.
It's pretty sunny today. It's nice.
Yeah, to be honest, well, Heather says it's hammering down in Brecon. Yes, I don't know if you can really see here, but outside the office is beautiful blue skies.
It is relatively nice, isn't it? I know. But yeah, loads of people joining us now. Great to see you all on. Run through. You got Tony, Heather, Mark, Pablo, Ian, Kate. Good old Kate Ramsey.
The Ramsanator. How's it going, Kate?
Yeah, Alan, Mark, Sinead, Gavin, Asher. Any questions, guys? I know there's some people who join us all the time here. Dave Rimington looks like he has.
Dave,
prepared. He's
You had that written out already, didn't you, Dave? You just copied and pasted it in. Lauren, I'm pretty sure will grab it and send it to us, so we don't lose it in the comments.
No, we'll make sure. But right, yeah, waterproofs. We'll start with waterproofs then. Reason we discussed it previous to this last couple of days was, even though you're going to high altitude and it is cold, you kind of expect that you're so high that it won't rain. It's actually going to if there's any precipitation, it'll turn to snow. But we kind of learn
precipitation
the hard way a little bit. I know. I'm trying to use big words. But we've learned the hard way, I suppose. Especially on the Everest Base Camp trek at some times of the year, maybe sort of early September, October, sometimes in March and April.
Yeah,
we get some rain lower down, like Lukla, Namche. The first couple of days where we've been caught out. Also on Kilimanjaro, because you're hiking through some of the forest parts, and you're still relatively, below 4,000 meters.
Yeah.
If there is any precipitation, Dave, it will rain. So yeah, it's important to have a good, decent jacket.
Yeah, exactly.
Dave, I think we'll start with types of jackets. I know you're big on a couple of different.
Yeah, well, again, I've gone through quite a lot of like Goretex jackets, wind stoppers, all that type of thing, because I like them to be breathable, because I run so hot. There's no point in me avoiding the precipitation just to dive straight into the perspiration. So I find that if you get it's all about breathability. Now, the one drawback, if we're talking about Goretex waterproof jackets, they are expensive. There's no way of getting around it. The better ones are even more expensive. But you can find a good middle ground. So a lot of them, it has to do with how much water they can keep from penetrating the jacket and how breathable they are at the same time. If you want the best of those worlds, which trust me, you do, you can expect to pay. I mean, some jackets are like 600 quid,
they're quite expensive, aren't they?
Any like Gore-Tex Pro jacket, you're going to at least be looking at sort of 350, something like that. Although you can get some good deals. So I've generally got 3 jackets that I'll use if it's raining. well, 2 and something else. The first one I got is a Goretex jacket. Actually, no, I've got 4 jackets. So the first one is I've got a Goretex Pro. It's a Montane Goretex Pro jacket.
Yeah.
It's really good, really breathable. The color's terrible, but that's what you've got to do if you want a deal. The next one that I've got is the Rab Firewall, which I actually think sits right in the middle and is a jacket I highly recommend.
Yeah.
Because it's not hugely expensive. Oh, Andy's got one.
You say that, Dave. Look at
this.
Yeah.
Now,
what Firewall, by the way?
Exactly. So that's the jacket that me and Andy have. What I love about that jacket is it doesn't cost a fortune. If you keep it, if you look after it and keep it proofed, it is very waterproof. And they've just put zips that go from your wrist to your armpit.
Oh, they are so good.
You know, it basically means that the breathability, rather than being in the actual fabric, is in vents and things like that. So it's a really good middle ground. The other jacket that I've got is a Paramo. Paramo is an interesting one. I don't know if any of you have heard about Paramo, but it's a completely different material to Goretex. So most Paramo jackets feel like really soft, almost like a thick sort of shell, they feel like. Yeah. And when you see them, they don't look waterproof. And when you feel them, they don't feel waterproof.
Yeah, they're quite sort of light, aren't they? There's not much to them.
But they are brilliant, really breathable. The only downside is they are expensive as well. But if I think one of the other benefits is that they're more comfortable, they're more breathable. And the biggest benefit, the reason I love the Paramo is it's quiet. You know that loud
you're right.
Goretex.
Yeah, you're right, because this is like when you walk, you hear that, don't you?
Exactly, and it makes a big difference if you've got the hood up. So when we were on Kilimanjaro in February, I used the Rab Firewall just as like a wind stopper.
Yeah.
And I had the hood up. Now with the wind and the hood up, I was deaf by the time I got to the summit. With the Paramo, you don't have so much of a problem. And the other one that I use is a rain poncho. You see these a lot on Kilimanjaro because Kili is very much like it'll rain, then it won't, then it'll rain, then it won't, then it'll rain, then it won't. And you need to, rather than like putting your jacket on and off, you can just have this really lightweight plastic poncho. I've got a couple of the like £2.50 disposable ones. Then they're good. They'll help you, but spend like 15-20 quid on one that you can reuse. It goes over your head, your shoulders, your back. It's like, if you've ever seen that episode where Homer Simpson wears like a muumuu, that's kind of what you look like.
Is that analogy of the week? I know
we've that's where we are. But also Paramo. Really big on Paramo. It's the only difference is when you recommend them to people, you need to, you're going to be spending 300, 400 pounds on a jacket, 100, 150 pounds on a pair of trousers. But they are really good.
Yeah, definitely.
Wax technology. So that stuff you reproof your jackets with anyway is the technology that goes into it. So yeah, really good.
Nice. Yeah, there's heaps of questions coming in now. I know Lauren's sort of making sure that we catch these, so I'm just reading them here. So with the jackets then, Dave, you're talking right. You've got Goretex Pro, you've got the Paramo, the two big ones. You've obviously got Goretex as well. Personally, I've only ever used Goretex. I know Dave's trying to get me to use Paramo. I know it is really good stuff. One of our good friends, Steve in North Wales, who runs Aim Higher, he swears by Paramo. Absolutely uses it all the time. We've seen him use his jackets. I know. I think James used it as well. By the looks of it, he said moving to Paramo is the best move you made. I might have to try it, Dave. Maybe I'll try your jacket.
Honestly, it is really good. Like I said, before I knew anything about Paramo, when I first saw the jacket, it was in like a store, and I just looked at it, and it was there with like the other jackets, like the famous. Ones you see a lot of, for instance, you'll see a lot of like Berghaus. You'll see the Lotse, the mountain equipment Lotse, which is supposed to be quite a good jacket.
Yeah, Tom mentioned that actually. He's put one of your thoughts on that jacket, and I love that jacket. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's a really good jacket. Yes, a good jacket. You see a lot of that. You see a lot of that one. And then you have this Paramo, and then I was feeling it, and I was like, this doesn't. I don't know what's going on, but it's 400 quid, so I wasn't willing to, make the stump. And it was actually Steve when we did our mountain training. He was head to toe in Paramo and was telling me a little bit about it and the technology. And ever since then, I have been a convert. It
is good technology. Great questions coming in.
I'm going to have to dive into Dave Rimington's questions.
I know. I was thinking that he's gone ahead and created some good ones there. But
go for it, Dave. Yeah, no, because they're staring me in the face at the moment, and there's loads coming in. So let's crack on. Mountain kit sold in Kathmandu, worth it?
Or not?
Or knockoff kit? Well, they do both. So in Tamil, which is where you'll be staying, there is 3 things. There are souvenir shops, trekking shops, and massage parlors.
Yeah.
Almost exclusively. So in the trekking shops, there's loads of stuff there. A lot of it can be, North Face Chinese edition, knockoff stuff. But then they also have a North Face shop, mountain equipment shop.
Yeah, they have some real ones, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, outdoor research shop.
Yeah.
There's a make called Black Yak, Kathmandu. These are all really, really good makes. The only difference is it might be a little bit cheaper, but probably not.
Yeah.
But the other ones, you can definitely get some really good stuff there. So like if you're interested in water bottles, trekking poles, sunglasses, loads of different buffs, caps, all that sort of stuff you can get in Kathmandu for really cheap. I've bought quite a lot of that gear.
Well, you can, can't you? It's pretty much everything. I mean, if you turned up without anything, you could get it if you needed to.
So
there's everything there, Dave. If there's anything you forget. Obviously, you've got the simple stuff, but yeah, it's there's varying levels of quality out there. But if you obviously want to use our stuff, the jackets and the sleeping bags, you can.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, we're going off a little bit, but we'll carry on. Illness, injury, what support, communications do we get people off the mountain? Basically, we can get you off the mountain at any point during the trek. The extreme weather might cause a little bit of an issue with getting a helicopter to you, but it all depends on the seriousness of the situation. So, worst case scenario, they put you on a stretcher and carry you down, but that's never happened. Almost always we're able to get you down. So all the guides have local phones that work throughout the entire region of the mountain. That's a stipulation. And they'll always be able to call the guys in Kathmandu, call myself or Andy or anyone back here in the UK and do all the communication. So, if you need a helicopter, we'll get you a helicopter. If you need to go down, we'll get you down. It's as simple as that. Your health and your sort of safety is paramount. It's more important for you to come back healthy than get to base camp and be really sick.
Yeah, exactly. It's they all carry high altitude first aid kits as well. So and they're all high altitude first aid trained. Yeah. So these people are vastly experienced. I mean, you're talking. Some of them have been doing it for over 20 years. They've guided to Everest Base Camp, 400 or 500 times. They're very, very experienced. With regards to looking after you. So there's things in place. Like Dave said, you've got the helicopters. In some instances, if the weather's so bad and you can't get anything, you can get a stretcher, or sometimes they actually put you on a horse. Yeah. I know there's a few EverTrekkers, a couple who maybe had some dodgy ankle or dodgy knee, and they've had to get a horse down. Yeah. We saw a guy, didn't we? Was it last April? And he rode a horse pretty much, I'd say, 3/4 of the way up. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, wow.
Yeah. He wasn't injured. He was just lazy. But so is it easy to get a bowl of hot water for a strip wash or hot flask? Relatively. I'll be honest with you, you're not going to want to do it on every location because it gets colder. By the time you arrive in the evenings, the last thing you're going to want is be able to strip off. So wet wipes do a really good job. Yeah. If you need a hot flask or something like that, we provide a flask full of hot water or hot tea, and all you got to do is ask the guides, and they can usually sort that out for you at all the lodges. So hot water, yes, a wash and everything like that, like a bowl wash potentially, but I'll be honest with you, you're probably just going to want to use wet wipes. It's a lot easier, quicker, faster. And there's, that's generally what happens on the hill.
Definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't bank on it, and sometimes if because most of them run off gas, don't they? But if there's some of them do have solar heaters, but again, it depends on the weather. Exactly. It's always good to think basic, and plan basic. If you get anything extra, like some hot water, that's a bonus.
Yeah, exactly.
So I plan to almost plan to use the wet wipes the whole way. Yeah. And when you get back to Kathmandu and you have that first shower, it's the best feeling in the world.
Exactly. Yeah. I usually have a little stuff sack as well, so I'll just put all my dirty wet wipes in there. Yeah. It becomes the bag of doom, and then when I go back to getting off the hill,
you don't open that bag.
Yeah, exactly. When I go off the hill, I'll empty it into some sort of recycling bin. Has anyone used those sport oxygen canisters to help with altitude sickness or recovery? Not that I'm aware of. So when it comes to like oxygen canisters, you don't really need them for Everest Base Camp. The idea is that we acclimatize you without the use of oxygen, because if you need oxygen to get to Everest Base Camp, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And you need to probably
go down.
Not go up, turn around, go back down. So the only time you'll see oxygen being used on an Everest Base Camp trip is in an emergency situation, where someone's either injured themselves or they've been struck down with quite severe altitude sickness, and then will be on oxygen until the helicopter arrives. There's only one cure for anything altitude related. That's descent. So then there's, if you need an oxygen canister, then your trip is over. But that's
on Kili as well, isn't it?
But that's a good thing. Also, some places in the Khumbu and stuff like that will offer oxygen canisters, but it's like, I don't know, $500 an hour or something. It's for, I don't know who it's really aimed at, because like I said, if I saw one of our guys on the hill using an oxygen canister, one, it's very bad for you to use, because once you start on oxygen, you can't really come off it, because it has the effect of suddenly lowering the oxygen rate in your body quite suddenly. So you start on oxygen whilst you wait for the helicopter to take you back down. So you don't need it. So forget oxygen. You don't need it. Average pace per mile, probably overthinking it there, Sep, Dave, but
per leg. I like that. Per leg as well. Definitely.
I don't really know, to be honest. Slow. Glacially slow. You'll start to grow moss on your back and things like that. Very slow. And the water filter kits we use are called Sawyer. There's an interesting blog about it on our website in the Knowledge Center. Lauren could probably post a link to it or something like that.
Well done, Dave. Nice. I hope that answered your question, Dave. Your question, sorry, is a lot of good ones there, and thanks for prepping and copying those in. As we're scrolling down, then again, I know we're here to talk about waterproofs and things as well. And we see a lot of them. Like, who was it? I believe. Where is he? Just looking. I think it was Tony asked about the Lhotse, the mountain equipment Lhotse. That jacket is actually one of the most famous ones if you're thinking of waterproofs. Whoever I speak to, and they're out in the mountains regularly, sort of 50% of the time they've got one. They call them bomb proof, which means pretty much, it's able to handle and stay dry. You're talking of the perfect storm. They're really fantastic jackets. I've never had one, never used it, but I've had similar sort of jackets. Certain, the same Goretex Pro, the same level of sort of waterproofness, if you like. But with waterproof, if you're going to take one on all of these trips, because I don't like to hike in my down jacket, I prefer to hike in my waterproof jacket, just because it's easier from a perspiration perspective. And Dave, you mentioned earlier about the Firewall. It's got the vents on the side. I think if you can get jackets that have got vents, I mean, the Rab Firewall is one of them. Most of them have it now, and it just gives you an extra option if you want a bit of air. Just let a bit of air, and it really helps. We've got another jacket here, which is, again, this is probably similar to the Lhotse. This is the Berghaus Extreme 8000. So again, this is labeled as bomb-proof. You can see it's quite noisy, it's quite thick, but no wind is getting through that. And waterproof wise is amazing. But again, they're not cheapest. You're talking 450 quid for that jacket. It's, and that's the thing with waterproof, isn't it, Dave? Loads of jackets out there will say they're waterproof. And you might get lucky, but I think if you're spending under a couple of £100, you're probably not going to have. Going to be that great. I mean, you as long as you wash them with was it Nicky Wax you use? Nick Wax.
The Nick Wax stuff. So you've got like the Nick Wax. I don't know if it's called the Nick Wax Instant, but there's one you'll wash the jacket in, and there's
another wash, isn't it?
And then there's another one you can just kind of like put on the jacket. So generally, what you should do if you're following sort of best practice is if you go out in the rain and you're out all day in driving rain, you should go back and reproof your jacket afterwards. Nobody ever does, but you should do. I've started doing it more often because the more different treks that we're doing, the more I'm getting caught out with rain. Maybe that's a climate change sort of issue. But it does bring me on to something else, which I think someone has mentioned here, John Newman. Yeah, I always do pack a pair of waterproof trousers, except for when I went to Kili in February. So I forgot to pack them. I had to borrow a pair off the guide. Now, the guides over there are some of the most fit individuals in the planet. Byproduct of that is that they're quite thin and svelte, and I'm not. So
they were cozy, weren't they, Dave?
What's that?
They were cozy.
Very cozy, yeah, very cozy. I mean, my stride was about half its normal length, so I didn't split them. But yeah, bring a pair of waterproof trousers. I always say, with things like that, just if you're umming and ahhing, bring them for the peace of mind. They weigh nothing. They pack down really small. They don't take any space. It's super easy. You know, so my trousers don't take any space generally. Like on my duffel bag, I'll just like lay them out flat on my duffel bag, you know, so they're just there. You know, they don't take up any more space than they are thick. So yeah, definitely bring a pair of trousers with you, because you might not need them. You know, probably on base camp, I've never used them. I used an umbrella once.
You did use an umbrella. It was I never let you live that down.
No, but mate, I'm telling you, right? This was like me and Andy were coming back on the last day, Namshi to Lukla, and it was like we caught the monsoon, and it just never known any like consistent rain like it. It was crazy. And just so I put it out there, I had 2 waterproof jackets, and I gave them both away to people because they didn't have any, and I was like, oh, well, use mine. I'm an experienced hiker. Use mine. And then I didn't have one. And so I got drenched. And then I saw a local Sherpa walking past me. Hello, with like an umbrella. And I was like, well, if it's good enough for the locals, it's good enough for me. So that's it. I bought the most expensive umbrella in the Kumbu.
I was going to say, you paid a lot for that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Paul Evans, he asked about Paramore jackets. I know, Dave, you explained in the beginning about Paramo. Perfect for the Everest Base Camp trek.
Just to jump in quickly, James Ashley has said that there is an end-of-line sale on with Paramo at the moment.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, just as you said that. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, there we go. Maybe check that out then. Definitely. I think, Dave, you might know this one. Shane Ryan's asked about his RST waterproof jacket. Do you know anything about that?
But yeah, I know about RST. It depends what type of waterproof jacket it is. You don't see many motorcycle jackets. That's not true, actually. I saw a Belstaff one, you know, the old school Belstaff ones with the belt.
Yeah.
I saw someone going for a bit of the Levinson Wood sort of look with one of them. Maybe
it was Levinson Wood. You never know.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, you could bring it. It's whatever you feel comfortable in and whatever works for you. If you've been out on the motorcycle in driving rain and stuff like that, and that's kept you dry, and you want to bring that, then bring it. There's no hard and fast rule. One of my big beliefs as well is that like your comfort and like happiness rating on the mountain should never come down to one single piece of clothing.
Yeah.
So it is about layering and also having options. So I'd rather bring something and not use it than sort of not bring it and then realize later that I should have done. So when it comes to like waterproofing and stuff like that, layers make things more breathable. And you know, like I said, you can have a poncho for light rain, you can have a jacket, you can have anything you want.
Yeah, I think because Mick makes a good point. Like he, Mick Hamilton. Yeah, good to see you, Mick. Good to see you on, mate. You always join us on the lives. But yeah, join us on one of our training weekends. I know he's already been to Everest and he's taking on Island Peak. Not in too distant future. All things going well. And yeah, very important actually. They're getting a jacket. And Dave, this sort of joins into what you were saying about layering. You know, you got to account for that. Don't have like a jacket that's too cozy.
Yeah,
you won't be able to put any layers on it, and you'll look a bit like the Michelin Man. You know, you want to have a little bit of space there, so you can put maybe a fleece and obviously a base layer.
Yeah.
You know, so Mick is a very good point there. So cheers for bringing that up, Mick. Sital, let's have a look. Sital, you always join in our lives. Great to see you on here again. So use both a poncho and a waterproof jacket for EBC. It's again, I mean, when it comes to these, we always say take a waterproof jacket, definitely, because you might need it. A poncho is a bonus. It probably doesn't rain nowhere near as much on Everest and the Everest Base Camp trek as it does on Kili, certain times of the year. So with a poncho, again, super light. There's no harm in you taking it. You may need it, you might not. You might get lucky. So it's worth bringing if you need it.
Exactly, yeah. So when I say about taking things, obviously Ramona's made a good point about the weight. So you've got to keep everything under 15 kilos.
Yeah,
everything in your day pack and your duffel bag. But I never find that a problem. And I think once you've done base camp once, you at least realize why you might have took too much, because you don't need like 5 pairs of trousers and 6 base layers and stuff like that. I've known people where like bring one of everything. So one base layer for 11 days, insane. But but when it comes to little like sort of life hack things that don't weigh anything, like waterproof trousers, they don't take up hardly any space, they don't weigh anything. A poncho doesn't take up any space, doesn't weigh anything. So you may as well bring those 2 items and stuff like that. And then I would start to think about things that then perhaps you don't need, So a lot of people then, how many, I like this fleece, but this one's heavier. So just bring one, you'll make do. And, I've never had a problem staying warm with one fleece, one down jacket, and then say probably 3 to 4 base layers. But again, they're quite light and don't weigh anything. So, and I'll probably have 2 regular ones and then a thermal one. And then 2 pairs of trousers, and that's it. That's what I'm going to wear every day. A lighter pair of trousers and a warmer pair of trousers, and then it's just stuff like beanie hat, gloves. So it's quite easy to stay under the 15 kilo limit once you've got that peace of mind and you know what you're about. So if you want that peace of mind before you go for the first time, drop me a message.
Yeah. And Mark jumped in as well, just about weather, and obviously we're talking about waterproof weather. October, great time to go. I know we've trekked probably 3 times, I think, in October to base camp ourselves, and I know it's fine normally, sort of from Namche up. You won't really get rain up there, but you might get caught down by Lukla. You might not. You might get lucky. You kind of never know, because normally in Nepal, the monsoon runs from June to sort of the end of August, but they're never on a strict. There's always a little bit of leeway there. Like sometimes it comes early, sometimes it comes late. I mean, we've known sometimes the monsoon does stretch into October. It's you can't control that. So if sometimes it's worth keeping an eye on the weather before you go. But if you're taking your waterproof anyway, it's not going to do any harm, Mark. I definitely take it. I mean, but I use my waterproof even if I'm hiking at say 5,000 meters, just because it keeps the wind off me. The sweat, because of the Goretex, it kind of wicks it away from you. So that's just, again, personal preference. I'd say whatever you normally do, whatever you normally hike with in the UK, use that on a base camp trek.
Yeah, exactly.
You won't go far wrong.
The only difference with really trekking in the UK and trekking in Himalaya is that I suppose there's not really any difference. The only difference is we don't normally trek for 11 days straight in the UK.
Yeah, that's true.
If you did go out trekking for 11 days straight anywhere in the UK, you're almost certainly going to get wind, rain, sun. Yeah. It's the same when you go to the Himalaya. It changes a little bit with the altitude. So obviously when you're up by Dingboche, you're going to get snow instead of rain. But it does, you're going to walk through all 4 seasons, basically. And that's true for every destination and in the world. I mean, having said that, I guarantee every single person that watches this will go to base camp now in October and it'll be boiling hot the entire way. But, the Himalaya, it's very changeable. Yeah,
definitely. I've just got a few questions. I think Jerome, who's been following us for a while now, and Jerome, great to see you, mate. Pole, exactly. I think you mentioned somewhere about where is it? I'm just going to see if I can bring your comment up, Jerome. Let's see if I can find it. I think I have. Yeah, so you mentioned about doing because if you follow the community for a while now, back in March, when all the restrictions sort of were happening in Nepal and the UK, we did a little fundraiser for our Nepalese staff, which is fantastic. We've sent quite a lot of money over there now. I think it was just over $4,200, which has helped the staff. We're looking to get some more. I know the fundraiser is still open, so we're leaving her open for Nepal. With Kili, and it's a very good question, because we do have a team out in Kili. You think they'd be affected? It's a little bit different. Obviously we want to try and help as many people as we can. The thing is with Nepal compared to Tanzania is that when this did hit, it was sort of smack bang in sort of trekking season. So it's had a bit more of an impact on people's lives compared to Tanzania. When it did happen in Tanzania, it was more like downtime. down season, so it hasn't impacted the guides as much. Which is, as you can imagine, we want to help the people first who kind of needed it. Especially in Nepal where it's all reliant. So yeah, it's one of those things that we were kind of helping the people first who really needed it. Now, especially like in Kilimanjaro, it's open. It's starting again, and they haven't really lost too much. As much as we want to help every single person, it's sometimes we want to kind of focus on the people there. So we're going to keep the one open for Nepal. No plans to do one for Tanzania as of yet. Because like I said, they haven't been impacted as bad as the other people. So from our staff who we've been chatting to, they're doing just fine. So as much as we want to try and help everyone, we've got to kind of focus on those at the moment. I appreciate, Jerome, that you're thinking about everyone, and that's why it's great to the community who are thinking about all the staff, because they're the people who take us to these wonderful places, and we want to look after them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're great people.
I mean, so the thing is, when like just a second, really, what Andy was saying about the seasons and how they got affected. We know it's been difficult for everybody. So I'm sure that it has been like better than it could have otherwise been for the guys in Tanzania, and that is true. But we haven't really, as far as EverTrek's perspective, we didn't stop any trips from going to Tanzania. So our normal schedule of cycling through seasons was kind of unaffected. Where the Nepalese, the reason why we specifically did it for those guys was their season was planned to go ahead, and in the beginning of March was still going ahead, and beginning of March is right at the beginning of the peak season, March, April, May, where they get the most people. So there's a lot of things that happen over there, like a lot of staff are taken on, a lot of staff moved from the villages to Kathmandu. And then what happened was that the trekking season was just bang, gone, overnight, taken from them. And then their lockdown happened. So people were stuck in Kathmandu who would normally have otherwise been in their local villages and with no money to pay rent or stuff like that. So we wanted to try and avoid any situation where anyone has to move out of their house and potentially, lose money, jobs, homes.
Yeah.
So, but I really love the idea that, it's been really humbling to see everybody, because we started this just thinking whatever we got would be great. But everybody diving in and helping has been amazing. So, but rest assured, Jerome, that, if the need is there, then we will do it.
Yeah, exactly. I know we were talking about guides and things like that. Mark, cheers, Mark, for mentioning this. I know there's been some sort of stuff in the group, in the High Altitude EverTrekkers group, around that the visa restrictions are being lifted in Nepal, and that's 100% seems to be fantastic at the moment. We're always keeping an eye on the travel industry, as you can imagine, especially the aviation industry, because that's the important one, really. Nepal are going to be open for the autumn. No dramas with that. We're kind of, so everything's going ahead as planned. We're just hoping that with regards to the flights and things like that, you're able to catch those flights to get out there. It might mean some sort of quarantine, not in Nepal, but in the UK upon return. So it's something you need to kind of think of. But 100%, Mark, with regards to visas, it's now you're now able to apply for them again, because they're starting to open back up. We're kind of hoping. It's kind of strange because I know here we're speaking to all the UK and we get a lot of customers from the States now as well. So I know a few of you might be watching from the States. I might be getting up nice and early now because it's probably only like 7, 8 o'clock. But with regards to the UK, I know the lockdown restrictions are going in England. It's really good. I mean, I know you guys can go pretty much anywhere you want. In Wales, it's only 5 miles, so we can't really go too far. It's still quite strange, really, because we're chatting to family who live in England, and they're driving all about, and they're going, like someone said, come down to Falmouth. Because I was like, I'd love to, but we're not allowed. Because we obviously want to see the family. But, we're hoping as soon as Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, we all kind of get back to some sort of normality, that we're able to travel again, because, we all want to travel. So, again, Mark, thanks for bringing that up.
Exactly. And about the visa restriction, the travel restrictions over there till the 5th of July, that's really easy for Nepal to do. The key date is end of August, beginning of September. That's when the trekking season and tourist season really starts in Nepal. So they're probably seeing it as just free, an easy time to, keep everyone in isolation and restrict travel to kind of limit the impact that COVID's going to have, if any. And yeah, hopefully we'll be back up and running by September. So yeah, anyway, guys, loving the passion. Yeah, and with regards to the money that you guys have sent over, we just want to be incredibly thankful. It is important to know that when you're over in Nepal, something like $50 could feed an entire family for a month over there. So every time a few of you donate, even a few pounds, it all adds up to a huge difference when we send it over to the other side.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, awesome.
I think Tina.
What are we talking about? Jackets?
I know. It's always the same, isn't it? Well, look,
it's a very loose. So we started off talking, and it's like I love it. It just carries on and go. Who knows where we'll end up?
I know it's funny, isn't it? It's looking at, but I know that this crops up almost every single week. Is about weight, baggage, weight, things like that. I know Tina, you mentioned it, which I've just brought it up there, and I believe Claire as well. I bring Claire's up because I know she asked the question specifically. There is that if it's 15 kg for your duffel bag and your your kind of carry on, or is it combined? And it is combined, Claire. So it's 15 kgs. So that's your duffel bag and your bag. So we always say that and I think I think Debbie has mentioned as well, wear your heavy stuff, wear your heavy boots, wear your heavy jacket, carry your water. Don't put it in your bag. Don't want to be doing that. You're giving away kilos there. Even if you take the camera, put it around your neck, because you'll get away with it. Because they obviously try to manage it. And if you're a few kilos over, we've had people sometimes like mid-20s, 25 kilos, because they want to bring some equipment. I've taken a lot as well. Because I sometimes carry the laptop, which is a couple of kilos. It all adds up. But yeah, just sometimes they can be a little bit strict. I'd say 75% of the time they don't care. But that 25%, the time that they'll take your bag off and they'll leave it in Kathmandu is the time, is the frustrating one. So, we try and minimize that. And plus you want to be a little bit fair towards the porters.
Yeah.
They're obviously carrying these, so to have it a little bit around 15 kgs is manageable. Saying that, some of these guys have carried 80, 90 kilos. I've seen people carrying a fridge on their back.
Yeah.
They are really strong, but we're passionate about making sure that our porters are well looked after, and we don't want to give them too much to carry, because they are looking after us and making sure that it's easy as possible for us.
That's why I always say try and keep it to 15. It can be done with 15. Trust me, it definitely can.
Yeah.
I've done Everest Base Camp 4 or 5 times now, and is it 4?
I think you've done 4 times, yeah.
Yeah, 4 times. And either way, and every time it's easy to get it in 15 kilos.
Yeah.
It's just you've got to be. You don't have. Yeah, it's difficult the first time because you're second guessing what you need because you don't know. But you don't need 5 fleeces, 10 hats, and hundreds and hundreds of snacks. You can get snacks in Lukla, you can get snacks in Namche and stuff like that. So you don't have to take all that stuff with you. You can kind of get some of it out there as you go.
Yeah, exactly. Although I think Lauren's packing 10 kgs of Cadbury's chocolate. Wow, that is a lot of chocolate. But Dave, I know we like to take our treats, don't we?
Yeah. 10 kilos of Cadbury's might be.
That is a lot.
That might be a bit hardcore. But yeah, no, it depends how much. I mean, I usually bring a couple Cadbury's fruit and nut bar. Love a fruit and nut bar.
Yeah, good source of
But yeah, glad to see a lot of you are gonna have a look at Paramo. If there is a sale on at the moment, like I think it was James who said it was. Yeah, it's going to be a great time to get some really good kit from those guys because I love their jackets. They're really good.
Yeah, definitely. There's some cool questions as well. I've tried to bring them up, but I know we're trying to catch them. But Clifford Hurst asked when training for a walk like base camp, is it better for short, steep climbs or getting the miles in? Yeah, a bit of both. I think important is not to sort of worry, am I doing exactly the right amount? It's just to get out. Pack on your back, just put some miles in. Even I'd say the best thing is just to get out maybe 3 or 4 times a month if you can. Appreciate, if you're working, but even if it's just twice a month, and just put some miles in the legs. Steep climbs are going to be fine because you're building up the strength. So it's certainly not going to harm you. Maybe, if you put a couple of climbs in, say like a 7 or 8 hour trek.
Yeah.
try and do that in one day, and then the next day try and go again. Because the best thing, and the thing that the thing that surprises most people is the multi-day aspect of a long trek. Because it's rare that you'll do that in the UK unless you've got a bit of spare time and you'll do it. So maybe do a Saturday and a Sunday consecutive, just so you're used to it, used to the feeling.
Yeah.
Definitely. I hope that answers your question, Chris.
Yeah. Miko has asked, going off track a bit. That's what we do. That's what we do. We've mentioned Aconcagua a few times now. Any idea when you are going to be launching? So first of all, just to clarify, we are 100% doing Aconcagua. It's there. There's just a couple of little things we need to tick off. I mean, if we were going to send out some, half-baked trip and book people on, we could, but it's not the EverTrek way. We got to put little things together like the guides, and by guides I mean like the downloadable guide. We've already got the human guides. So there's a lot of stuff we want to put together just to make things an EverTrek trip, so with regards to all the preparation, experience and knowledge and stuff that we can impart to you from the moment you book in. That is all being sort of written at the moment. I mean, it's basically done. We just got to kind of put it all together. But I would say we got a busy period coming up because we got the Kilimanjaro competition. I imagine it'll be some point after that. So maybe in what do you reckon, 2 weeks to a month, something like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we could, Miko. I think if you've been following the community for a while, we try and space things out as much as we can. And as Dave said, we want to make sure that everything's EverTrekified, if we're labeling it, just to make sure it's all up to standard. It's a great trip. We're really excited to launch it, and sometimes we could launch every trip at the same time, but we're kind of making sure that we do it the right way. So yeah, great to see that you're in there, mate, and yeah, keep reminding us. It's not far away. I think, Dave, you said within a month. I think it'd be before that. It'll be available there.
I was being kind to us,
What's that?
I said I was being kind to us, making it easy.
Giving us a bit more.
Tell them, and if they get it in 2 weeks, they're well happy.
But yeah, Jerome just asked with regards to Aconcagua. Yes, it's in South America in Argentina. It's the highest mountain outside of the Himalayas. So almost you're pretty much touching just under 7,000 meters. So it's a toughie. It's a real tough peak, but more than achievable. If you put the right training in, and the right preparation, you'll be able to do it. We're definitely going to take it on. I think if you've ever done Kili, base camp, any of those sort of high altitude treks, and you wanted to kind of step it up a gear, then Aconcagua could be the next one. So yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys in the loop around that. You'll definitely need waterproofs if you go to Aconcagua, because basically we kind of changed the itinerary a little bit. So to give you a little bit of a heads up, if you like, it's not just Aconcagua. We've actually got 3 other peaks we're climbing in the 21-day trip. Just to acclimatize, because like any trip we do, we sort of hike high. So we'll sort of hike, say, to 4,000 meters, and then we'll sleep down at, say, 3,006. So it's part of the sort of altitude profile to make sure that you acclimatize properly. And part of it on Aconcagua is to climb some other peaks. So yeah, we're quite excited about that because it's kind of like a new thing. To do that sort of stuff. So yeah, we'll definitely keep you in the loop. Exactly. Wayne Blues. Dave, I know you've been speaking to Wayne. Hey Wayne, thanks for joining us. You found us eventually. I know you sent a message in saying, "Where's the live?"
So great. Yeah. So basically, Wayne's he's deep into the process of kit acquisition, which is an amazing time to be a part of. I'm excited for you, Wayne. I'm excited for you. It's he's asked, being vegan, is there going to be an issue wise on EBC? No, shouldn't be an issue at all. We've had quite a few vegans over the years go out to Everest Base Camp now. First thing to note is that you are going to be on at least a vegetarian diet for the entire time anyway, at least when you land in Lukla back to Lukla. So no meat or anything like that. That's just to avoid remove the risk of like potential stomach upsets and things like that. Now, yeah, there's a lot of the food that's all provided for you. Mostly, if you choose like things that require like vegetables and stuff like that, it's all local. They do stuff like pizzas and stuff like that, which aren't quite as fresh. But if you choose dal bhat, you can have like vegetable dal bhat, which is just lentil dal, rice, and curried veg, which essentially is vegan. basically just you make your guide aware, you know, so they can just keep anything out of you know, or be mindful of cross contamination. But I definitely know that we've had quite a lot of vegans on there that have always reported back that they didn't struggle with difficulties getting food.
Yeah, exactly. It's you know, we've definitely cater for anyone. We've had people who I think were celiacs as well. We've had people with some serious disabilities who we've catered for. I think it's always worth sort of double checking as well that you can bring some stuff out there. You know, that if you normally like to use, you know, some snacks or things, we have seen people bring their own. Obviously, we cater for you on the trips, you know, wherever you come with us.
Yeah.
But as long as you give us a heads up, you know, when you arrive and before you have your briefing on all of our trips, that's kind of discussed. Like in Nepal, you have a Nuj or one of the ground staff who will go through the briefing with you at the hotel, and you know, you can discuss that.
Yeah.
Just so the guides know before we kind of start cooking your food.
Yeah.
But right, what are we going on? We're keeping loads of questions coming. It's great though. It's kind of weird when we started doing this, Dave. We had to almost coax questions out of people. Yeah. And now it's just like getting machine gunned with questions.
Well, someone mentioned earlier, 50,000 people watch these, no pressure.
I know, yeah, it's a bit mad.
Not think about it. It's best not to think about it. You know, I honestly don't. I mean, yeah, wow, yeah, that's crazy. Who'd have thought?
Was it Graham Gordon. I'm going to bring this in because Ben McDewey, as soon as lockdown lifts, I'd love to go up there. I did. Was it back in the end of November it was like winter conditions up there. It was about 4 foot snow in Laragru, which I know is not a million miles away from Ben McDewey. I believe actually you go through Laragru. It was on the right. But yeah, 100%. Can't wait to get back out in the mountains, guys.
Yeah,
it's been too long.
James Ashley has asked. Is it James Ashley? Yes. How about Mount Elbrus?
You can call him Lord James if you want.
Yeah, yeah.
I love how he puts that on his social media.
Mount Elbrus. Watch this space, I guess. Yeah. At some point we will be doing it. Yeah. Again, like I said, we could just sort of scatterbomb effect and, you know, produce these trips in a very, very quick way. But we're not. We'd rather take our time, find the right sort of team, put it together and release it. So Aconcagua, but me and Andy have talked quite a lot about Elbrus and stuff like that. So it's close on the radar, might be next, you know. Yeah, so there's a lot of different, I mean, basically, if you're aware of a cool mountain to climb on any continent, we're probably already aware and have a future idea on setting it up. Mount Elbrus is definitely one of those because, you know, we love the idea of the 7 summits, you know. So
yeah, exactly. Well, we're going to be doing, I mean, in the future, I know we obviously, Everest is kind of our thing. It was our first ever big product, if you like, that we offered our trip. You know, going back a few years, and yeah, Everest won't be long. We'll be doing Everest summits. That's the long and short of it. We're going to be running expeditions there. We've got a great team in Nepal who've already run expeditions to summits, successful summits. So yeah, you know, if there's a big mountain out there, we want to, you know, take people up there. You know, as ever, there's lots of other places to go, but you know, Everest is on the agenda as well as all the other 7 summits, including Mount Elbrus. It's not that far away.
Andy, can you do me a huge favor, mate?
Yes.
Can you put Ramona out of her misery and tell her how old your house is? Ramona, I know.
It's actually quite an old cottage. It's 1870. So it's an old Welsh cottage. Yeah, it's quite. I thought you were pointing to the door. Where I got the jacket hanging up. Yeah, it's quite an old little house we got here. But yeah, Ramona, maybe one day you can pop over as a pub actually 2 doors down. So not open yet, but more than welcome to come. It's it's a cracking little place. Paul, where's Paul? Let's have a little look. Paul Meacher, because Paul, you've joined us on a few lives, haven't you? You've been you know, thanks for joining us.
I think I spoke.
And you've asked about hotel in Kathmandu. Well, we've used over the years. We've used a few different ones. The main ones we used are Hotel Manang and Hotel Mashangdi. There are 2 core hotels for all of our customers. Due to the spring, there were a few things that we're potentially looking at changing. because of, you know, the improvements, if you like. I think, Dave, I know you've been working with Anuj quite hard on potentially looking at changing these for the autumn.
Yeah, so we're going to use, I think, essentially 3 hotels.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to push an emphasis on one hotel. So,
yeah.
I don't want to tell you it's going to be this one because it's amazing. Because you might end up Hotel Manang, Hotel Mashangdi. I think Lauren, she's already done it. We'll put up a post about those. So they're the 2 main ones that we use. They're really nice kind of boutique, about 3-star hotels. They've got a little bit of history in the area. They're quite well known in Tamil. A lot of mountain expeditions and trekking expeditions are launched from there.
Yeah.
That's where I've stayed every time I've gone there. Now there's a brand new hotel, a 5-star hotel called Hotel Aloft, Aloft. And we're going to try and use that one because when we were in March and people were trapped there in lockdown, we moved them from Manang or Mashangdi over to Aloft because it's got a lot more facilities. It's got a pool, a gym, you know, pool table, you know, and it's really, really nice, proper 5-star modern hotel, which a lot of people before they go, they want the rough it, they want the local, they want all this. After the trek, you'd be amazed how many people want a 5-star luxury hotel, you know. So, so there's lots of stuff like that. Also, the food in Manang and Mashangdi, I can say that it's really good. And one of the things I love about both those hotels is they're pretty much next door on the same road. Sometimes we'll have one group in one group in another. Yeah. And there's always like a little patio area in Mashangdi, or you can go onto the roof in Manang and just sit there with an Everest beer, watch the sun go down on Kathmandu.
Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it? Making me
Andy, I'm off, mate, if that's all right. Yeah.
You can't do this. We're still stuck in Wales. Yeah. But yeah, no, Brian, who's on here as well, he reached Everest Base Camp with us back in March and got stuck in Kathmandu for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, he's one of the ones.
He was at Aloft.
Yeah.
But it is a great place. Yeah, we're always looking to improve every single aspect of our trip. You know, the last few years we made some significant changes. We've always been really happy with our hotels that we use. We've always had great feedback. But again, if a new hotel comes along and we get some awesome feedback, like the guys who were in lockdown, because Manang, you know, it was a little bit of shut then open. There was a bit of communication issues with them. We tried something else, and you know what? We tried Aloft, and it was awesome. We had some great feedback. So because of that feedback, and we're always happy to get that, we're potentially looking at having them in there. But those are the 3 main ones. Paul, I know you asked. You know, so yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Awesome.
Got some more here as well. I think Chris, because Chris Collins, he's always drops in. Thanks, Chris, for joining us. Waterproof's likely to be needed November, December. Good question. Likely, I've trekked to base camp in sort of mid-November. It is colder because you're sort of getting into winter. It very rarely rains at that time of year because of the temperature does drop significantly. You know, it is sometimes winter conditions, especially as you go into December. So, you know, I'd still take it because I do use you know, I do use my waterproof while I'm hiking. Even if it doesn't rain, I still wear it just because it keeps the wind off. So take it anyway with your waterproof, Chris. I definitely take it. You recommend gaiters. With gaiters, we rarely use them. I'd say 99% of the time you won't need them. But if you're doing something like a high pass, you know, you've gone over Gokyo Valley, Kongmela, Renjola, Island Peak. You know, if you're going to be trekking through some snow, then gaiters come in handy.
I'd be like to
say the crap out of your boots.
Yeah, I'd like to say that ankle gaiters might just be good enough just to keep the rocks and granola out of the shoes. Chris Collins has asked, how much ballpark does it cost to summit Everest? Ballpark figure between 30,000 to 125,000 pounds. I would say anything less than leading up to around 45 grand. You're probably going with a budget outfit. So chances of coming back down with all your fingers, toes, and sole intact, not so great. 45, 50 grand onwards, then you're probably going to come back with fingers, toes, and a live brain.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. I mean, when we start doing the summit, it's not going to be the cheapest out there, and we wouldn't do that because we want quality at the end of the day. So we're going to run small teams, but it will be the slightly higher end price wise.
Well, when you look at it, there's a direct correlation between how much money you spend on a trip and how many sort of when you're talking about Everest summit, how many people they've lost. So when you look at a 30 grand summit bid or 40 grand summit bid, you're going to be looking at very basic base camp conditions, very poor nutrition. You're not going to have a huge team, lower oxygen supplies, which means less oxygen sent to your body per liter per minute. When you go with a more expensive outfit, all that money does get spent. No one is pocketing the money. It goes on extra base camp facilities. Some of them have warm under beds. You're off the ground, you have proper beds, you have proper nutrition, proper food, proper oxygen, proper training, proper medics, proper doctors, all of that stuff. So if you are thinking about anything like that, spend the money, mortgage the house or something and spend the money.
No, definitely you have to. It's Phil has got a good one as well. While we're talking about the hotels, we should have sort of explained it a little bit, but if you're arriving early, if you're going late, then sort of what you're booking onto, 100%. Just let us know when you upload your flight information into the members area. We'll see that data. So we'll know then if you're arriving early or arriving late that we'll book those extra nights for you. So just to make it easy as possible, we don't want you checking out the hotel and going in to another hotel. You may as well keep it all centralized, especially if we're moving to somewhere like a loft. I'm sure you'll really like that one.
Yeah, exactly. It's, as Andy said, super easy to do.
Don't
worry about airport transfers. Don't worry about hotel accommodation. Just tell me when you're arriving and when you're leaving. Someone will be there to pick you up. Someone will be there to take you back. Any extra nights you have, you just pay the hotel directly on a discounted EverTrekker rate like you normally would. If you have 3 extra nights, probably on the first or second day, someone will come up to you and say, "Hey, how's it going, Phil? Let's talk about the extra nights." And then you pay the guy and that's it. Easy.
Exactly. No, it's great. I know we've covered a lot. I think Jerome asked one we haven't answered yet. Jerome always come up with some great questions. I'm trying to find yours. There we are. Got it. You asked about. So you've done the. I have a feeling you've done the Lemosha route, haven't you? Just guessing with your picture. But you are doing the Chola Pass, Gokyo Lakes. So Lemosha is, I'd say, other than one of the days, which the summit day. It's relatively okay. Is on Kili, on Kilimanjaro. It's a little bit different. I'd say Chola Pass is, it's very remote. It's probably a bit colder than the Lemosha route, definitely. I wouldn't say it's any less steep than the summit of Kili. If not, I think Kili is very similar. So when you're going over Chola Pass, you'll probably be going at 1 mile an hour. You're hardly walking up there because you want to take your time because of the altitude. In terms of difficulty, it's always hard when we talk about comparing one trip to the other, because Kili and doing a long trek like the Gokyo Lakes and Everest Base Camp, they're completely different types of trips, in terms of what they are. So I would say the difficulty level, they're probably very similar, just they're different types of trips. Would you agree, Dave, or would you?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's the first question that anyone who's done one and is looking to do the other asks. How do you directly compare the two? I would say, on Kilimanjaro, the 2 hardest days, Summit Day and Lava Tower. Probably 2 pretty difficult days. Chola it is tough. It is hard. You do go up to a very high altitude. So it's going to be somewhere in between, probably not quite, it's not as brutal or as long as Summit Night, but in terms of difficulty, probably along those lines. When you're probably about the second half of Summit Night, when you get in high in altitude and stuff like that. So but to be honest, if you've already reached the summit of Kilimanjaro, I don't think you've got too much to worry about. I always tell people, don't focus on how difficult it is, because it's all a matter of, there's so many variables, like how fit the person is, how well the person's adjusted to altitude, which of course is different every time you go. So it's a very subjective answer. Personally, I would say if you've already gone to the summit of Kilimanjaro, then Chola Pass is going to be completely achievable for you, and you should concentrate on enjoying it and having an awesome time. But I would want to know too.
Definitely. Couple more as well. Kirsty, you mentioned about anything else to do after finishing, getting to Everest Base Camp or Annapurna, wherever you're going. Yeah, absolutely. There's some. Nepal is a fantastic place. You could spend probably the next 20 years going to Nepal if you wanted, and they still have more to do. The kind of big things that are out there to do after a trek, you're looking at. You've got Chitwan National Park, which is down near the sort of Indian border. If you're looking to get into sort of wildlife, it's definitely a great place for safari. We do it as an add-on. We've also got there's a lovely little village called Pokhara, which is towards the Annapurna region. It's a great, beautiful place. We've been there before. We got a great little place there. Plenty of places to relax after a hard trek. Obviously, there's plenty of trekking. There's plenty of places to visit, but yeah, in terms of additional stuff, those are the two really that we kind of recommend. Around Kathmandu as well, you can spend a bit of time there if you wanted. You've got Kathmandu Valley. There's some sort of old cities quite near there that you could go for say an hour or two, and you could be it's a million miles away from Kathmandu, with regards to traffic and things. But
exactly, yeah. There's a really nice resort. I cannot remember the name of it, but it's about hour and 45-minute drive from Tamil. When I was last in October, you basically go really high to really high up to about 2,500 meters, I think it is. And there's a hotel there that just like overlooks
the valley
and the mountain range. I'll see if I can find out what the name of it is. But
is it Bhaktapur or Bandipur?
I'm not entirely sure it is. I'll find out. I'll find out and I'll put it in a comment. But if anyone's here and remembers next Tuesday, ask me and I will know the answer by then.
Yeah.
I could find out now by messaging Anuj, but well,
he's probably busy. It's just been his birthday, so we can leave him to it. Ramona as well asked about why the new Yeti. Yeah, why are we asking getting new Yetis? Now we're growing our team. We have actually got a project manager who's going to be joining us in sort of roughly beginning of August, so quite excited. And then we've got another Yeti who'll be joining us. We're open to the end of the month. We've had a few hundred now, I think, applications. So we've had a lot of people who have applied for that position, and it's great to see so many people interested in working, joining the team. We can't wait to get back to the office. I know some of us still working remotely at the moment. Dave is in the office, so we're slightly jealous, but it won't be long. We'll be back. Certainly, obviously we've got a 7-year-old, so when things get back to normal with regards to school, it'd be great to get back in the office. But until then, literally only a day or two in the office, unfortunately. But yeah, looking forward to welcoming in 2 new Yetis. So by August, we'll have 2 more people on the team.
Yeah,
so quite excited about that. Especially with you, Dave, helping out with the new trips. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be marvelous. I'm lucky, that it's going to come in at the right time, I think, because I've noticed that the job of preparing all the trips and everything like that every year is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So having a new Yeti to come on board and help out with things like that would be wicked. The question is what their Yeti name is going to be.
Well, that's the big thing, isn't it? That's the important thing. It's all about the name, really. Didn't have to think too hard about yours. Luckily.
Well,
but it was.
They wash off.
We've been on for over an hour now, but wow, it's mad, isn't it? You think an hour, we spent only 5 minutes on waterproofs.
Yeah,
but, that's always the same, Dave, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Waterproofs, you do need them. They can be as cheap or as expensive as you like. The level of waterproofedness goes up with the money you spend. Check out Paramo, and Goretex, and if you need any advice, just drop us a message because I'll be more than happy to have a chat with you about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like Dave said, any jacket that you're looking at, if you need, if you're looking at a particular jacket and you think, if you want to ask us, there's a couple of things. You can email us info@evertrek.co.uk or post in the group as well, the high altitude EverTrekkers. There's a lot of experience there. You've got almost 3,000 people now. Lots of them who've already been on trips with us. Some people who are going. Some people who are just into the trekking. Probably like us, just passionate about the outdoors and love equipment. So post in there if you want a recommendation. Or ask us. and we'll say, yeah, looks good. But you won't go far too wrong. Spending a couple of £100 on a jacket, look at the waterproofness of it. Yeah, whether it's Goretex, Paramo, like Dave said.
Yeah.
Make sure it fits right. Once you get back to the shops, you can go in and potentially try some on.
Exactly.
But yeah, you do need them on the trips. The important piece of equipment. We always say to plan for 4 seasons. So part of that is having a decent waterproof. So you in case if it does rain, you're still relatively dry.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than that, though, yeah, a couple of things. So obviously, if you're following us, I'm wearing a bit of Kilimanjaro on today. If you are keen to jump in on the competition, we're running a competition at the moment. Definitely get yourself in. We've had so many people who have entered so far. It's absolutely unbelievable. Almost double what we had the previous competitions we've done.
Yeah.
I could see why Kilimanjaro is an amazing place. And if you want a chance for yourself and a friend, get yourself in. I'll get the Social Yeti Lauren to put the competition link. So if you're not in, I know a lot of you already are because you're regulars of ours. But definitely get yourself in. We'll be drawing that on the 30th of June. So looking forward to doing that. And yeah, we'll be back sort of next week with something a little bit different. But thanks, Dave.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. I wonder what we'll talk about next week.
I know, exactly. In the interim, we are the Mountain Malarkey podcast. I know we released an episode last week. We'll be putting these on the podcast on the podcast as episodes.
Yeah,
it'll be like a separate series if you like. But they'll be there if you want to just listen to us rather than just ramble.
Exactly.
On the screen.
YouTube as well.
Yes.
We're going to roll with Trek Flicks.
Very good. We have to be careful saying that, but yeah, you're right. But cheers, Dave, and great to see you all. And we'll be back next week.
All the best, guys. Bye.
Bye.